Every object we find tells a story, but how does a seemingly simple fragment become a window into the past? It begins in the ground, and almost always by surprise. A small change in soil colour, a glint of something different, a shape that doesn't quite belong. You become aware that you are excavating something delicate and potentially archaeologically important. Even though the find itself is a great aspect of excavation, the feature in which it is found is just as important. Without this information, the object's story is incomplete.
I'm really excited because I've just found this flake of tuff from this pit, but it's not the only thing. There's also a flake of flint and some prehistoric pots, so it's like a prehistoric trifecta. I'm just going to pop this into my finds bag. I've got the rest of my finds here. I'm going to pass this on to my supervisor, get it labelled up and back to the office.
Once transported from site, work can begin cleaning up and conserving the artefact. This process varies widely depending on the material of the find. Once the object is clean and dry, it's off to one of our post-excavation specialist colleagues. Specialists look for small details, like any marks or wear left by tools, to find out the item's purpose and even how long the object was in use for.
Well, this looks like it's a flake struck from a ground and polished axe. The raw material is volcanic tuff. If it is from an axe, we know that Group 6 Langdale axes were in circulation from about 6,000 years ago, so it's a very good indicator of early Neolithic activity.
Well, looking at this individual shed in isolation, you wouldn't actually be able to tell a great deal about its date or form. It lacks a lot of diagnostic traits. So in isolation, that wouldn't be able to tell me a lot about this material. However, given its wider context, it's come up in a post hole with the flints, which have been provisionally dated to the early Neolithic, and next to a palisade enclosure from which elements of carenated bowl have been recovered. So on that basis, you'd have to say this probably aligns with the carenated bowl.
It's good to get that really strong dating evidence from features that are in close spatial association to give you some idea of what might be going on.
So the area that we found the piece of ceramic, it was just down here, and to the northeast we have another area which we think contains Bronze Age settlement activity. They were probably intervisible in the prehistoric times. You can't actually see between them both now because the railway now comes between them, and there is what I think is a relatively new forest around this area. Between these two areas there are 3 watercourses that come from the hills behind. So this one is Eastfield Syke, Crooks Beck at the bottom here, and then a 3rd watercourse coming in from the northwest. They join before they get down to the area with the large palisade. We know from experience that prehistoric people tend to gather around where waterways connect to each other, probably either because the biodiversity there was quite good, so it's a good place to collect food, especially if you're meeting up in large groups, but also watercourses in a changing landscape always stay the same, so it's quite an easy place to sort of tell your family, your extended family and friends to come and meet you at where the watercourses meet each other. The finds will helpfully tell us the types of activity and also dates for all of these, and then we'll be able to build a large picture of what the prehistoric communities were doing across this whole landscape.
These small, seemingly insignificant artefacts from this one tiny feature can only tell us a small amount on their own, but when added together with all the other features and finds from the site, we start to build a picture of how people were living and what they were doing. From a broader perspective, these artefacts speak of connections between past peoples within their communities, as well as the wider landscape. Most of all, it reminds us that the past was lived by real people who worked and moved just as we do. These artefacts carry stories of craft, style, and identity across millennia. They're a great reminder that even the smallest of objects can act as windows into our past.